Hello, welcome to this video on the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, a collection of teachings on spiritual awakening. Today we shall see two verses. First one is the following, first in Sanskrit. It is 116. Yatra mano yāti, bāhye vābhyantare tatra śivāvāsthā vyāpakatvāt yasyati. Wherever attention goes, wherever the mind goes, that is, wherever attention goes, outside or inside, there is the state divine. There is the divine state, śivāvāsthā. For it is all-pervasive, vyāpakatvāt. Nothing can exist outside of it, that is, outside of consciousness. Because it is all-pervasive, vyāpakatvāt, yasyati, where could it go? Where could the mind, where could attention go elsewhere but in the divine, that is in consciousness? Attention is like waves moving in the sea. Just like the waves remain in the sea, there are waves of the sea. Just like that, movements of attention do not move outside the space of awareness, outside that light that enlightens, that illuminates everything, real or unreal, outside or inside. Whether I pay attention to a thought, to a memory, an image, a sensation, a feeling, or a form, a sound outside, this is all within the space of awareness. These are all waves remaining within the space of awareness, arising from it, setting into it. So, there is nothing to control. There is no attention, there is no distraction, there is no concentration. All that are just waves. But what I really am is the ocean, so I can relax. No need to control waves, to look for this wave and reject that. No need for attention. Attention is concentration, contraction, fragmentation. No need for special attention. Just let attention move as it will, like a free bee. And realize that, and check for yourself in your own experience, that all movements of attention occur within the space of awareness. They cannot go outside, because there is no outside of awareness. There is no outside of space. No physical body can go outside the physical space. In just the same way, nothing can go outside of consciousness. So everything is consciousness, all states of consciousness, whether concentration or distraction. It's all the same, it's all consciousness, and therefore consciousness is the divine, because all depend on consciousness, and consciousness does not depend on any. And that on which everything depends is the divine. So here we have a quite long commentary. But nothing really special, as the verse itself is very clear. The next verse, 117, goes along the same line. Sanskrit first. Yatra yatrākṣamārgeṇa, caitanyaṃ vyajyate vibhoḥ, tasya tanmātradharmitvāc, cillayād, bharitātmatā. wherever, whenever the consciousness of the Lord, the divine consciousness, displays herself, manifests through the path of the senses, the five senses, or even inner senses, imagination, memory, thought, etc. Wherever and whenever the consciousness divine manifests through the senses, there tasya tanmātradharmitvāc, because this is just a manifestation of consciousness, because that perception, that sense perception, those forms, those shapes, those sounds, those tastes are nothing but manifestations of consciousness, then they dissolve in consciousness. Sounds are consciousness, forms are consciousness, words are consciousness, memories, reactions, deep feelings are all forms of consciousness, all manifestations of consciousness, like the waves on the ocean. They are all consciousness. What else? Check for yourself. What else can they be other than consciousness? So they can do nothing but dissolve away in consciousness, like clouds. They have to dissolve in the sky because they have nowhere else to go. And then bharitātmatā. From that realization, from that insight, comes the fact of being full, bharitātmatā, the fact of having as oneself fullness, complete, nothing lacking, no choices from that point of view. The individual makes choices. I will take tea rather than coffee, say yes rather than no, etc. But who I really am, my deeper identity, is all-encompassing, encompasses all choices, all opposites, all terms of all dilemmas. Whatever it is, yes or no, I contain all, I encompasses all as consciousness. Just like the sea contains all waves, whatever the directions, going to the east or to the west, it's all the same water, all the same movement. Here is all the same vibration. This is the word used by that tradition, spanda, vibration. It is all the same vibration. All movements of attention, all sensory movements, all bodily movements, all mind movements are all movements of the same universal movement that we call here consciousness or vibration. So, whatever I see is a manifestation of consciousness. Whatever I think, whatever I feel, whatever my impression is, my feeling in the guts, in the lungs, in the back, on the face, in the eyes, whatever tension or release there is, it's all the same consciousness manifesting. And all that, which is not said here but implied, and all that is bliss. That tradition gives various arguments about it, but all those arguments are for pointing to the direct experience of bliss. It's not only that if I realize that all is consciousness, I will live in bliss. Rather, is that all is consciousness, and all consciousness is always already bliss. All experiences have a core of bliss. This is, according to the tradition, and it's for every one of us to check, all experience has a core of bliss, even pain, even loss, whatever. Even in the heart of pain, there is a heart of bliss. It is a given, it is a fact, and they are not inviting us just to change our experience, but rather to pay attention to that core of bliss present, already present within any experience. And it is just for us to pay attention to that, to rather than to pay attention, to taste and to dare taste this. And this is what they call bhakti, divine love, divine participation. Bhakti, taking one's share. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening and see you next time.